The timber I delivered last week was purchased to frame this right-hand corner that I've been working on. However, after 15 minutes of hammering 3 posts into the solid-ass ground, I've decided to put this idea aside for a moment and build my tomato frame instead. I'm using 2 types of timber across the whole allotment, 3x2s for posts, legs and frames, and 1x12s for the raised bed borders. Making everything uniform like this makes it interchangeable and cheap, especially if you don't mind warped pieces at 80% of the price.
Oh yeah, say hello to Babsy, my mum.
To make the raised bed frame, I'm cutting 20-inch legs out of 3x2 timber. You screw one leg at each end of your 12x1, and you do that for 4 of your legs using 2 screws per leg. I then cut one full length in half to make the 2 ends of my raised bed, exactly the same as the smaller raised beds I built a few weeks ago. Your 2 longer sides of your raised bed are ready to go in, so go round and dig out holes in the corner of your bed for the legs to slot into. I'd like to take a moment to address this monster that broke my spade. Yes, I dug this beast up from the top left corner where my post was meant to neatly slot in. So much for easy peasy. Moving on from that mission, your 2 long sides go in first, one leg in each hole, and it holds quite firmly. Then marry up the end panel against the corner leg using 2 screws attached together and repeat on all 4 corners. A little tip is pre-drill your screws into your end panel, and that will make it easier to attach, especially if you're on your own. This raised bed is going to frame the 2 upright structures for my tall, indeterminate tomatoes and some cucumbers. For the structure, I'm using 3 lengths of 3x2 treated CLS timber, which is about 7 foot 8 inches or a standard 2.4 meters long. The uprights have to go into the ground to anchor them, much like the legs on the raised border do. 2 uprights go in 60 centimetres into the ground so that I can reach the top of the frame when it comes to actually stringing these plants up. So the bed width is 120 centimetres, so I'm going to measure 40 centimetres from the corners. Lay your 3 pieces of timber down and using 2 screws attach the horizontal length to each end of the vertical timber. This can be done with one person as long as you don't rush. But between me and Babsy, it was easy and light. These timbers aren't heavy. They're maybe 3 kilo each. Slot them into the holes that you've made and then screw each leg to the end panel using 2 screws at each end. That's it. You're done. And in about 2 months' time, you should have something that looks like this. Now, I've chosen 2 frames, but you could always do 1 frame, like I did on the previous space that I was on. Now that that's built, we're going to amend the soil. So loads of blood meal and bone, loads of chicken manure pellets. I mean loads of chicken manure pellets. The bed is going to be for tomatoes and cucumbers, which are hungry, warmth-loving plants. So I'm adding 2 15-kilo bags of farmyard manure alongside 1 regular bag of compost. After adding the worms, I can say it's done. The frame is done, the soil is ready. This job is complete. Hi, I'm Gabriella, and for a long time I have been growing fruit and vegetables in any space available to me. But after a long, impatient wait, I have finally been given an actual allotment plot to call my own, the biggest growing space yet. Subscribe now to follow my upcoming series as I transform my space, try and feed the 5,000, and learn to relax. I found the light white coloured potatoes at the back of the cupboard in the kitchen, which is perfect because me forgetting about them means that they have chitted already, making them perfect for planting. And the dark ones I bought back in March when I got gifted the small raised bed, so they'll go on the allotment instead. I'm planting these as deep as I can physically go, which is around 4 inches. Because the ground is so hard, it's taken me 30 minutes to dig these 9 little holes. 9 potatoes, 9 square foot, 9 holes. Firstly, what I'm doing here is tailored to my ground. Dry, dense soil that would rival the Sahara. This is not ideal, perfect, or even good soil to plant in, but the reason I'm planting a batch of potatoes here is because of their aeration properties. Aeration allows air, water, and nutrients to penetrate the soil, stimulating microbial activity. This means the potatoes push roots into the dense soil and push green leaves up out of the soil. The green leaves pull in carbon from the air. The carbon is used to grow more roots, which break up the soil and encourage microbes to grow. The more microbes grow, the more the plant grows. The more the roots grow, the healthier and nourished the soil becomes. And this is why I'm planting 27 potatoes in this 27 square foot corner of my new allotment. The potatoes are for the benefit of the soil, not for the crop itself. If I do get a small harvest of some kind, it will be a pleasant bonus after improving the soil. Babsy insisted on buying peas as well as green beans this morning, so I'm going to plant these peas in between the two potato varieties, which will help me remember where one variety starts and one variety ends. Peas are a legume, which means they fix nitrogen into the soil. With the potatoes breaking up the soil and the peas adding more nutrients, the two plants will improve the overall microbial health of this soil. After 2 big days, today I'm going to take it easy and check on the beds that are actually growing. I had a few spare kale plants from the other raised bed, which I'm going to slot into this brassica bed. I do not suggest you do this. There are way too many brassicas in this bed already, and each brassica plant needs a minimum of 1 square foot. The more space you give them, the bigger they'll become. After the brassica bed, I'm on to the strawberries, and Babsy is on the onion bed. All 25 strawberry plants have established after being overwintered in a tray and transplanted 5 weeks ago. I told you not to worry, they're pretty hardy. I'm going to mulch heavily around each plant to help retain moisture while also acting as a weed suppressant. I don't have a water tap on this plot, so water retention for plants is really important. The product I'm using is called Magic Mulch by Rocket Grow, my favourite brand of soil products. Just look how pretty these flowers are. Don't ask me, I don't know what type they are. All I know is that this little flower will turn into a strawberry one day. The carrots look wonderful. And when they get to this size, about 2 inches tall, 6 to 7 weeks old, you could thin them out. I'm not going to, but I'll explain why another time. Now that I can see definitive rows, I'm going to interplant spring onions that Babsy bought. For your information, you could probably put 2 or 3 of these strips in this bed. Spring onions are a deterrent of carrot root fly. They don't take up a lot of space. They grow well with carrots due to their shallow roots and beautiful smell. Plus, they're easy to transplant. This is known as companion planting. Chuck in some lettuce, pak choy, peas, and you've got yourself a salad bar. A good water and increasing the height of the cover, and these carrots will be left alone for another week. This is still the same day, by the way. I'm just trying to catch some sun in my new allotment top. Yes, I have bought this top specifically for the allotment because I don't want any t-shirt tan lines. I'm here starting on the second to last raised bed. I've been doing them in stages, and 5 big ones are done, and I've got 2 big ones left. This is repetitive work, but it is so important when starting a new allotment that has existing raised beds. I intend to go no dig in the near future, but for now I'm glad I'm digging because I have dug out a lot of unwanted items. Meters of horsetail weeds, lumps of clay. Look at the size of these pieces. And rocks. Who wants rocks in their soil? I'm amending the bed with blood, meal, and bone, and then loads of chicken manure pellets. I've ran out of the good stuff, so I'm just using a regular bag of compost for this bed. This is going to be a little bit of a utility bed where it's going to be mixed plants in one space. While I've turned and amended this bed, Babsy has been de-weeding the east boundary. She's done a great job along this line, a huge help to me. And while she's still engrossed in her therapeutic work of weeding, I have one more task to finish. This, the back of the plot. Over the past few weeks, this has been a work in progress. And now, finishing off this little corner with its clump of weeds and straightening this line, I can finally feel as if the task is completed.